Hello and welcome back to the A Traveling Knitter channel. My name is Steph and I am recording from downtown Columbus like I have been for the last over a year. I feel like everyone does this like intro about what this podcast is going to be. I feel like you can get that from the name of this channel, but yeah, it's a knitting podcast where I talk about crafting. It is June 20th, I believe. Yeah, June 20th, and 2021. And we are 20 days into the Summer Sock Cow, which is a knit along hosted by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. And essentially the goal is to knit as many pairs of socks as you can. No whips allowed. And at this point, 20 days in. So, and there's like different camps, and the camps are based on how you knit those socks. So there is DPNs, magic loop, 9-inch, and then a wild card, which is any other method. And I think that's like 2 circular needles or flexi flips or crazy trios. So I'm kind of dipping into all of the camps, and I have finished my first pair of socks. I used an opal colorway that's based off of a painting. I don't remember what this colorway is. It is fairly old, so I'm not sure if you'd be able to find it again. I did make a perfect pair. So they match, and I did not do, like this is the full yarn. So it is almost 2 color repeats. So if you start here, the color repeat is to there. These are a pair of socks for one of my friends, and I had him try them on, and they do fit him. And they are like, they're too big for the sock blockers that I have, which, speaking of, I'll just get to that in a second. But to knit his socks, I did a 64 circumference, so 64 stitches. I did 20 rounds for the cuff, 60, and then I did a German short row, and then I ended up doing 67 before I did a rounded toe. So here they are. They're beautiful. I have 22 grams left. It's basically an entire repeat of the pattern. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, and it is a lot to just toss. But I don't knit scrappy socks. I don't knit scrappy blankets, none of that. And the fact that it's a full repeat means that I can't like split it to use it as heels, toes, and cuffs. It's just, I'm not gonna like that. So I don't know, I'm just gonna keep it, I guess. If you do scrappy socks, or I don't know if this would even be good for scrappy socks, but like a scrappy blanket, and you like putting in, like something like this would look good, let me know. I'll mail it to you. It would end up being kind of expensive to just mail this, because I'd have to put it in it'd have to go as mail or as a package instead of just mail. Or if you want to trade, for 20 grams, I prefer something that is not like a repeating pattern. I don't know, I'll just put it in my trade pile. Which, speaking of, a few years ago, I did send off a bunch of minis to some person that commented on my channel saying that I just kind of offered, hey, does anyone want any of my minis? And someone said yes, so I mailed it to them. They never like said thank you or anything, which I don't know. I was like, I gave you yarn for free and I, you know, paid for shipping. Like, I didn't get a message that told me that it ever arrived. It said it arrived because I had tracking on it. But yeah, so I don't know. Thought that was kind of, it was a little off-putting. So here I am saying, would you like this? And then I'll mail it to you and then not get a response ever again. I don't know. Oh well. For the sock blockers, okay, they don't come off as nicely, but how gorgeous are these? Oh, they look so pretty. They kind of smell like my parents' house. Back when I was little, because there was a lot of like tiki wood. But yeah, I got this at a fiber festival that I went to last weekend. I'll talk about that a little bit at the end. There was no brand on these. There's no like name or anything other than the size, which is a small. But I did buy these from Birdie Yarn Birds. That's the yarn truck that is based in Columbus, Ohio. But they're gorgeous and I'm very excited to take pictures with socks with these blockers. Since I finished a pair of socks, I did cast on more. The first one, and you haven't seen any of these actually. And sorry if it like keeps shaking. I have you propped on a box that's on top of one of those IKEA tables, and my IKEA table is not level. So every time I move something, it shakes. But I've got a pair of socks. Pretty much all of this is gonna be socks. And I think these are all of them. I'll put the name of these, but these are from the 52 Weeks of Sock book by Lina. And I'm pretty sure in the last episode I talked about wanting to cast these on. I think I said I was trying to find my Addy flexi flips, so I did. And just look at that stitch pattern. This is definitely slow going. It's pretty slow going. And I'm only on the first 50 gram skein. I'm wondering how long I'll be able to make these, because it says it eats up yarn, and I don't know, like I could start the heel, but really I have so much left that it makes sense to make these a bit longer. And I don't know, I feel like these might be really nice boot socks. Not I feel like, they definitely would. But the style of boots, most of my boots are shorter these days. Not because I'm like picking out shorter boots, but most of the combat boots are just shorter right now. I guess that's the trend. Everything is short and baggy. So I was not here when I started. You just hadn't seen any of it, but I needed a way to tell what the front and back was. So I am now going to move that stitch marker. There we are. To talk about the yarn a little bit more again, this is by Skacel, and it is Kobasi by Haiku, which is cotton bamboo silk, 55% cotton, 16% bamboo, 8% silk, and then 21% elastic nylon. So it's 220 yards, 50 grams. And it's pretty soft. Like, I quite like it as a sock. Hopefully it wears well. I'm not super hard on my socks because I don't wear hand knit socks every day. So I feel like they would last. And I keep them in this bag, which is just such a cute, like, geometric owl bag. And I love the yarn tassel that you get. Pretty sure there's no brand on this bag either. Nope. So I can't tell you who it's from. But it's just a one-side drawstring. In the bag where those, the finished socks were in, it was this bag, and this is one that I made myself. And the fabric I actually found at Aldi. They had like a fat quarter set for like $5 or $10. So I bought it, and I have made at least, I made one bag. I think I might have made 4 so far. 2 that are this side and then 2 that are small, like Notion pouches. On the inside of my bag is Swiss dots. And this is the start of a toe-up sock. So the first one were 9-inch, so I will enter those in the 9-inch circular cabin. These are a magic loop toe up. So it doesn't matter if you're knitting toe up or cuff down, it just depends on the method of knitting. So this is, just like I said, magic loop. Oh my goodness. And I've essentially finished my toe, and I am doing the setup rounds for my foot to then do the pattern. This yarn is also pretty old. This is Plymouth Company Happy Feet 100 Splash, hand dyed, which is 90% wool, 10% nylon. And here's what it looks like. Honestly, it's gorgeous. I love it so much. This might be my favorite socks that I make out of this summer sock camp, Cal. I've had this skeined, or I've had this like in a ball for years and years and years and years. I remember skeining this up. It was back before I had a ton of hand-dyed yarn, so I would typically skein all of my yarn for storage. Now I don't do that because I heard that that's not good for your yarn. So this is, I'm kind of trying to knit through all of the yarn that I already have caked so that they just don't continue to sit in this caked form. So that's that. And then the colorway is blueberry. And here's what the ball band looks like. It's ripped. The pattern that I am knitting is out of Line It issue 2. I've talked about this before. I have this like thing where I want to knit all patterns inside of a pattern book. And this has my birds of, not my, but has birds of a feather, which I am still knitting, have not touched it. But there is a sock pattern in here called the Blomst, and it's by Jessica Gore. So that is what I'm knitting. So there's this lace panel and then garter, or just garter purls. It's not straight up garter. And you do get the lace panel on both sides. So this one isn't just like all lace on the left-hand side, it is on both. So that is what this yarn will turn into. I'm hoping the speckles don't make it too busy, but that's okay. This issue is great. I love every pattern that's in here. Every single pattern in here is great. There's even this dress, like a sweater dress. I love sweater dresses. I love sweater dresses for work. I like wearing dresses. I really liked it when I traveled because it was just one less article of clothing, right? Like if I was packing, I didn't have to pack both pants and a top. the dress was the one thing. And on Fridays, it's really easy to change out of a dress at an airport. I mean, it's relatively easy to change out of anything at an airport. You know, you just use the bathroom. But in the smaller stalls, it's a lot easier when you're only having to exchange like one thing. So, side note. I also, I really like this cardigan that's on the back. You probably don't get like that. You probably have to pay for that pattern too, but I really like that. Next up, another pair of socks, and this is in a bag that says, "You're like really pretty," which is a line from Mean Girls. Such a good movie. I saw this at Target for like, I think it was either $5 or $3. I had to buy it. And the socks that are in here are the next 9-inch circular socks that I'm working on. And they're just gonna be vanilla, you know, plain stockinette socks. And here's how far I am. I am on the cuff, maybe 4 rounds. The yarn looks like this. It's very Americana. And this is Sensations, Souls, and More. And it's a 75/25. Color 1811. But here's what it should look like. This is a Joann's yarn. I think Sensations is or was Joann's brand. Last time I was in Joann's, like Joann's has really revamped. I'm loving the new Joann's. I don't know if your Joann's are new, but there's several of them in Columbus, and the one I really like going to is up north by a shopping mall called Polaris, like the star. And this Joann's is fabulous. Their cutting center is really nice. It's one that has like, it's supposed to have a coffee shop. The coffee shop has been closed since I moved here. I assume it's because of the pandemic, but I don't know. There's even like a little lounge area. I don't know if that's for like the partner of whoever's in the store that just is not into crafting and stuff. So there's a whole lounge area. It's very bright in the store. And I was in the yarn section this last time and I didn't see anything that was Sensations. So I don't know if this is still like an active brand, but either way, I do have 2 skeins of this. My plan is to knit these for my dad because he's basically the next up a person to get socks. And yeah, I'm going to try and just knit as much of this as I can because like I said, I do have 2 skeins. So I'm not worried. And really, if I run out of yarn, I will just do the toe in like a red color or something. So those are the next vanilla sock. And those are all the socks that I have been working on or have started. I knit just a tiny bit on the Ripple Bralette, like a tiny, tiny bit, you can see, and my project bag just fell. So there's how much, right? Like 2 rounds, but you know what, I'm gonna move it. Moved. I've talked about this guy so often. The yarn is Teal Torch Knits, Dancing on Top of Cars. I do have an entire Ripple Bralette right here, but I don't like the loose gauge because you can see right through it. And so I am knitting smaller needles and larger size. Larger size on smaller needles so that hopefully I get a better gauge, but also I don't like shrink this. And I didn't just knit from what I'd already made because I'm kind of using this as my basis for how long I want things. Because I decided that I do want my cuff ribbing to be a little bit longer, but otherwise it should be pretty much the same. And I love this colorway so much. I keep this in a bag that I made myself, and this is fabric that my best friend got me in Japan when she visited several years ago now. The last project I actively worked on was my Anyday sweater. I was just kind of feeling a little burned out on the sock knitting, and so I picked up my Anyday sweater, which is by Lily Kate France, and I knit the entire back. So this is the back, and the last time I showed this to you, I had split for the sleeves, so I had, you know, the whole back still to do. So I did do all of that, and here is one of the fronts. So that's done, and I'm now working on the other front. This sweater is so fast to knit. I did the entire front, so all of this front knitting, all in one soccer game. So this is a breeze to knit. The fluff is everywhere now. Oh, my nose is itching. I am using Knit Picks Wonder Fluff yarn, and I'm gonna have leftovers again. I have almost 2 full skeins of Wonder Fluff left over from the first Anyday sweater I made. So I'll have leftovers for this. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it. Don't know. I would love to go do like a yarn swap with like my leftover yarns, right? Because I have like 1 or 2 skeins left over from some of my projects, and I just don't know what to do with them. And you know, I've already knit with them, so I'm not like as excited to knit with it again. So that would be nice. So that's my sweater. I don't know if I would have this finished. Like if summer sock camp wasn't happening, I could most likely have this finished by the next episode, but I don't know, because I'm not, you know, dedicating a ton of time to this, and because of the last project that I want to talk about. So this week, Grain Line Studios did a partnership with the Fringe Supply Company. The Fringe Supply Company is no more. They closed their doors last year, I think, but they were the makers of the beloved Fringe Field bag. I have 2 of those bags, but the partnership was to come out with a sewing pattern. So I bought it. I also bought a kit, but I was so excited, and I texted my best friend and asked if she wanted to sew it. And so we did. And I bought all of the materials, and we each made our own Fringe Field bag. How cute is this, right? So both of us went with a pattern for ours, and the way that it's constructed, you do see the inside. So I'm gonna keep that in mind, because, you know, that's not my favorite thing. So having like a contrast color or doing a lining, but this was a lot. This took about 5 hours to make. You know, first you make it a few more times and it'll go a lot faster, but the faux leather strap here, I just thought like it matches perfectly with this like deeper orangey red, and it matched my best friend's fabric as well. So this was like an amazing find to get that piece. I went to a local fabric store, it's called So to Speak here in Columbus, and I picked up the fabric as well as this strap. And then the cord There's also grommets in here, just like in the normal one. So they're right here. I got those at Joann's. So anyway, what's in this bag are the yarns for a tank top. And here it is, the yarn, not the tank top. Both of these are Quince & Co. This is Sparrow in the penny colorway. And then this, the tag is in my kitchen, so I don't remember the colorway, but the yarn, I can tell you because it is the yarn that the pattern is made out of, or that the pattern uses. This is Turn. So Sparrow, which I have one not wound up, is fingering weight 100% flax linen, and Turn, also fingering, is a 75% wool, 25% silk. Fancy. And the thing that I'm making is the Argyle tank top by Claire Lakewood. I've wanted to knit this for a very long time. And this is that tank top. I'm essentially using very similar colors. So this, the main color is Penny, so I did grab that, but I don't, I kind of wanted a lighter color, so I went with this, which this is slightly pink. Very, very excited. And this is in Pom Pom Quarterly issue number 29, which is the summer 2019 version. I'm so excited to start this, and I may start this today. Like, I really want to have that tank top. I think it will be so much fun to knit, and I wanted to put something in this bag, but I wanted it to be more than just socks. So that is that. And that's right, I'm starting another like garment, and I know I have multiple on the needle. I have the coat, the big cable-y cardigan by Joji Locatelli, and then I have the Anyday sweater, which is pretty much finished, not pretty much, but you know, it's so quick to knit. And then I have yarn caked up for more sweaters, so I shouldn't, but also this is what's really drawing me in, so that's what I'm gonna do. The last thing I wanted to talk about was a quick fiber festival that I went to, and it was in almost my hometown. So in Newark, Ohio, there was a kind of like a pop-up. It wasn't really, I mean, it was planned, but definitely a smaller fiber festival. But what was so much fun was that they had yarn dyers that I hadn't purchased from before. And I feel like you get similar dyers coming to the same shows or shows in the same area. So when you see dyers that you haven't seen before, that's quite exciting. And I did pick up yarn. I posted a picture of the yarn that I purchased. I'm not gonna show it on the podcast because I've already put it away. The festival was quite small, but it was outside, and the downtown area of Newark is really, really nice. The last time I was in my hometown, like actually driving down the main street, it might have been around 7 or 8 years ago. It has been a while. And going to Newark, so my hometown is Heath, and Newark is just like the city right next to it. They kind of blend together by the edges. And the downtown Newark area is really nice now. Like, it wasn't that nice when I was growing up. It wasn't that nice. And when we were pulling up, there's this like outdoor pavilion area that was not there growing up. There's a parking lot that is like an in-ground parking lot that's really, really nice. Was not there before. And then there was a used bookstore that was like a gem. And we go in and we ended up buying a lot of books because that's just what happens. And as we're checking out, we asked, like, how long have you been here? And she goes, oh, we've been here for a while, 7 years. I'm like, oh, basically you opened when I left. So to me, you haven't been here for a long time. But that was very nice. I can't remember the name because the name didn't scream bookstore to me. And I've even told one of my friends what the name was. I've even typed the name out, but I can't remember. So I'll put it on the screen here. If you're ever in the area, go check it out. Like, go to the bookstore. I mean, support your local bookstores, support your local yarn stores, right? Support local businesses. But the downtown area looks so nice. There are a bunch of like local restaurants that I've never heard of. So it feels weird to want to go back because I have no reason, right? My family doesn't live there anymore. I'm actually the only family member that lives in Ohio at this point. The rest of my family lives kind of on the outskirts, right? Like Illinois, California, Texas, and Florida. Those are all well-known states. I feel like Ohio is the least well-known state. Maybe. We all live in big cities. Like, all of us live in big cities because Columbus is, I think the last time I read, is like the 15th largest city in the United States, which I never really think about it being that big. It's the second largest city in the Midwest after Chicago, which is where my parents live, right? So it's like Chicago, LA, Orlando, and San Antonio, Columbus. I don't know, San Antonio might be the smallest of the cities, which is funny because it's Texas and everything's bigger in Texas. Well, now you know where all of my family lives in the US. Maybe that's weird, but that's it. Thank you for watching the podcast. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the socks. I hope the banter at the end isn't boring for you, but I was really excited to go to a yarn festival. I love yarn festivals. I love seeing dyers that I haven't seen before. That's where I bought the sock blockers. Kind of funny because Yarn Birds is in Columbus and I spent the most money at her. It's all good. If you liked the podcast, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you have any questions or if you just want to say hi. And at the beginning of the episode, I had all of my social medias. So if you want to send me a DM on there, or if you just want to follow me, that would be so lovely. I will see you guys in the next video, which should be my July TBR. Oh, that's crazy. It's July and I still haven't gone to the pool yet. Side note, I got Cedar Point season passes. I am so excited. I'm going to Cedar Point next week on Friday and I cannot wait. I'm so glad to be doing things. I'm like a go kind of person, and I like to fill up my days with activities. Like every day I want to be doing something. And getting Cedar Point season pass, I've never gotten Cedar Point season passes because Cedar Point is just like a smidge too far to have gotten passes. But I did it this year and I've already got, my June trip, my July trip, and I'm trying to get my August trip narrowed down. And then I want to go at least once a month. So yeah, if you are ever at Cedar Point, let me know. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will talk to you later.